KPTV network. I'm your host, Minister Fatike Samora. You're watching the Kingdom Promoters Talk Show. With me in the studio today, I have a wonderful guest with me and a very inspirational story that you're going to love to listen to. And I know her testimony is going to be a blessing onto your life. And therefore, I encourage you not to go away. Stay tuned. I'll be right back after this break. Don't go away.
Like, comment, and subscribe. You are watching KPTV Network.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is Minister Fatike Samara on KPTV Network. You're watching the Kingdom Promoters Talk Show. Before I went on the break, I mentioned that I have a wonderful guest in the studio with me today. And with no further delay, please help me welcome Miss Iya Bekondo. Welcome on the show, Iya.
Thank you, Patty. How are you?
I'm doing well. And before I just, go any further, I'm really happy to have you here today. And I know this has been like a long-awaited interview. And it's a good thing that we're sitting here together today because you'll have something very wonderful and a life-changing testimony that you know is going to be a blessing unto people today. So before I go any further, introduce yourself. Who are you and where you're from? Tell us a little bit about Iya Bekondo.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
My name is Iya Bekondo Granatella, and I currently reside in Edison, New Jersey, and I am the founder of the Iya Foundation.
Thank you for that introduction. And tell viewers where you're from originally.
I am originally from Cameroon, Central Africa. I moved to the US in August of 2000, and I've been residing in Edison since then.
Wow. And I just want to get a little bit of background about who Iya is. As you mentioned, you said you're from Cameroon, and I just want you to tell us or the viewers a little bit about your background growing up in Cameroon, how life was like as a child.
Growing up in Cameroon, I can say life was beautiful for the most part. I come from a middle-class family and did my primary and secondary education there.
Right.
And life was pretty decent while in Cameroon.
And you have a very beautiful mother.
Yes, I do.
We refer to her as
fair lady.
Our fair lady.
Our fair lady.
So tell us about Mama and the role that she's played in your life growing up as a child, and how, every mother is a blessing to their child.
That's right.
But your mother is an extraordinary woman, So tell us a little bit about her strength and how she's been by your side throughout all your trials in life and growing up in life. How has her support or her strength helped you tremendously in life?
So my mom is a pillar.
Right.
She's a pillar of strength. I consider her my backbone, and I mean I mean it with every sense of the word. And having me as a child wasn't necessarily the easiest.
Wow.
Because I was sick as a child, and it was very challenging coming from Cameroon, and my mom was pretty much there throughout, relentlessly, like almost every mother would do.
Right.
But coming from a country in Cameroon and your child suffering from something like kidney disease, which, it's progressing into kidney failure, is not necessarily the easiest to deal with in Cameroon, which is still a developing country. So she had the strength and the spirituality, to guide her in raising me and my siblings and, a host of other family members that were in the house. She did it as a single, as a mom who was more like a single mother, it was challenging sometimes, but she pulled through, and I applaud her. And thanks to God for I guess steering her in the right directions in
Helping
raising
you
us. Yes.
So you mentioned about as a child you were diagnosed with kidney disease. How old were you when this disease was discovered?
So I was 7 years old.
Wow.
Yes.
And you went through all this in Cameroon.
Correct.
And how did, let's say, what was the medical treatment like in Cameroon? Like, as you said, it's a third world country. It's still developing. It's a developing country. We all know, coming from Africa, such diseases are not really like common, although it exists, but there are not like too many proper medical treatment for it out there. So in your case, for you to really come out victoriously, it's the grace of God. And as you said, your mother as well played a great role. God used her. Because I remember I had a conversation with her one day. She was telling me how much, your story really, it's a miracle. How God used her. Sometimes there were times when you feel like, okay, that's it. She's dead. And she said there's just a voice that tells her what to do next. And she will apply that, and next thing you know, you're back to life. So like, I was really amazed and touched by her testimony, and her story. And I look up to her as well as a mother, and she was a nurse as well.
Correct.
So, and tell me how her medical experience kind of like helped you or helped her to pull through this.
I have to say, my mom's background as a nurse, she was a registered nurse in Cameroon, was very, very, played a major role in where I am today.
Right.
And you see, at 7 years old, my mom was able to pick up the early signs of something going wrong with her child. I would wake up in the morning and I would have puffy eyes. She noticed that I had edema, like my ankles were swollen. Right. And also I'd started developing edema in my stomach.
So like someone that is watching you in Sierra Leone or in Africa watching this interview, explain to me what is like edema. Like, that's like a swelling of the stomach, or?
Edema is when you're collecting fluid in your cells.
Wow.
Yes, so it's going to cause puffiness.
Wow.
Or swelling.
So like, if you're a mother out there, like there's a mother out there maybe in the third world country that sees the symptoms and signs, how can you let them know that when you see the symptoms, it is time for you to have your child checked out or maybe look more into it?
As with any case, it's very important that you check your child. You know your child.
Right.
Children sometimes cannot tell, and even as adults you cannot tell.
Right.
And some of these chronic illnesses, they progress over time, meaning in the early stages you're not going to be able to tell right away if there's something wrong with you, but you may experience or notice physical changes in the person's body.
Right.
That's why it's very important that we take a look at ourselves or our children or whoever we're taking care of, and if we notice any changes, whether it's a sore or edema or pain or tenderness, you can be able to tell and bring that to the attention of your healthcare provider. Like in my case, my mom, as earlier mentioned, noticed the puffiness in my eyes, especially in the morning, and edema.
Right.
And being that she was a nurse, she thought there was something wrong, and that's how we proceeded to getting help.
Wow.
Yes.
And right away she went into like her own little treatment, nutrition wise. Someone may say, oh, I don't have money for medical fees or doctor visit, but the change of diet also can help, if I'm right.
Absolutely. When she saw those changes, what she did first was that she was able to get what we called abuse sticks, and she brought it home, and she tested my urine, and my urine tested positive for protein. Now, what your kidney does is filter toxins out of your body. So your kidneys are going to take out waste
Right.
through urine.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to take out excess water, so, and it's going to take something like protein, which is nutritious to your body. It's not supposed to be filtered through into your urine. So if protein is found in your urine, there's something wrong. It's not supposed to be there.
Wow.
So this abuse checks for that. So when she tested that, it came out positive. There was protein in my urine. And so she knew there was something wrong. And that's when she took me to the hospital, and, she was advised on what to do. And now in reference to dieting and healthcare, it's amazing how far we've come with managing our health through dieting.
Right.
And back then in Cameroon, I remember we saw a nutritionist by the name of Mr. Scott, and he really guided us, in what to eat, and to extend the functioning of my kidneys before they fail, and if at all they fail. Because mind you, at the time, what I was diagnosed with was called nephrotic syndrome, and it's common in most children. It's a kidney disease that it's common in children.
Wow.
But at times it can be reversible.
Okay.
In my case, it didn't reverse itself. So now sometimes with the right dieting, it could reverse, and sometimes it may not. So what my mom did with dieting, she oh my God, she went on and beyond. I used to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables and greens. I had no salt in my diet. I had no sodas, So my kidneys lasted 10 years after I was diagnosed.
Wow.
Before they failed. So you can imagine, how much, dieting helped me. I strongly believe my mom going that extra mile to make sure that I ate the right things, what I was supposed to eat, drink what I was supposed to drink, and not do what I wasn't supposed to do, played a major role in extending the life of my kidneys.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I must say that, for some of you that are watching, you just seen Ia for the first time. Like, I've known her over the past 9 or 10 years almost. She's been a very good friend of mine. And sometimes certain things happen in life for a reason. Okay? And as humans, we're very easy sometimes to ask God, why me? But the Bible said everything that happened in our life, He turned it for good. It always work out for good, and there's always a plan and a purpose for it. But knowing you for all these years, you were talking about how strong your mother is, how inspirational she is, and her strength. And I know throughout all this disease and throughout all these trials, you picked out that strength. Mm-hmm. Anyone that knows you, that's been around you, there's just this energy about, in you that when people are around you, you have no choice but to lighten up. So I admire that a lot about you. Like, you did not allow this kidney disease to really make you feel sorry for yourself or try to put yourself down or make yourself feel like, oh, there's no hope. But unless you tell someone that this is what is going on with you now, nobody will ever know. But with that being said, how did you pull through this in Cameroon as a child? I can imagine going through all this, health issues and going to school, coming back home, dealing with, certain food you can eat, certain food you cannot eat. How was that like for you?
Fatty, growing up in Cameroon, as a child, it can be challenging sometimes, and I have to say, I used to cheat.
When mama is not watching.
You would just go visit your friends sometimes and get tempted. Or you'll be walking down the street and you'd see like where they have the kebabs, the soya and everything. And you can't help but
like, can I have one of those?
I know, and order one and then
and just gulp it down.
But the thing is, because I'd had something like salt out of my diet for so long, every time I cheated and I went to sleep and woke up in the morning, my eyes would be swollen.
And your mom would know.
My mom would know every time I cheated.
So cheating was not an option for you.
It wasn't an option. But I have to say, growing up in Cameroon, we grew up in a community where it's very close knit.
Right. Everybody knows everybody.
Everybody knows pretty much what's going on with everybody. So most people around me, my loved ones, my uncles, my aunties, and neighbors, they all knew that, I had restrictions in my diet. And so they were very, very watchful.
So if you try to get that chicken, like, I'm going to tell your mom.
No, they won't even provide me with it.
Wow, but that's a good thing, though.
That's right.
Because that shows you that everybody's watching out for your good.
Yes.
And that shows how much love everybody has for you.
Correct. And my friends, too. My friends, Lord and behold, my friends got used to eating my food.
So it doesn't make you feel bad,
No.
And you don't have
my
to, like...
food was special. And, they had to make it tasty in other ways. Like I would have beef and fish and, So my food was special. And my friends, when they came over, they would enjoy my food along with me. So sometimes it wasn't so bad.
Right.
And I used to enjoy the fruit juices, the smoothies. I used to have a lot of those. And I think it was good. It was challenging at times. I think it was more challenging when I grew older.
Right.
And I was able to go out on my own, like visit friends. And when you're around friends, they want to buy this, they want to eat this, they want to buy this, and you're feeling left out.
Right.
So you want to try it too. Those were the times when I would cheat somehow.
Right.
But typically, in my early years, before I was a teenager, it was, I was always around my mom. I was referred to as my mom's handbag. So,
but it's a good thing that she was there to guide you.
Absolutely.
Make sure you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But there's more to Iya's story when we come back after this break. And when we come back after the break, you'll get to hear how wonderful this woman is and how God has used her illness to pay it forward to those that are still going through the same kidney disease. So stay tuned. When we come back, you'll get to know more about her. Hello everyone, my name is Minister Fatike Samora from KPTV Network. On behalf of KPTV Network and my husband and family, I want to take this time to wish you all happy Thanksgiving, and I want to thank you all for watching the Kingdom Promoters Talk Show and following us. And I want to take time to especially thank the Star TV in Sierra Leone for all your support and encouragement and playing our show on TV in Sierra Leone. I want to thank you all, our followers, for your comments and your encouragement. I thank you again, and I wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Be safe and be blessed, and don't eat too much. God bless you all. Happy holidays from KPTV Network. Stay blessed. Welcome back to KPTV Network. You're watching the Kingdom Promoters Talk Show. Before I went on break, I'm here with Miss Iya Bekondo. She's sharing her story and her testimony as a child when she was diagnosed with kidney disease. And she's just walking us through the journey and how life has been like. And now, as an adult, how God is using her and blessing her to pay it forward to people that are suffering from this disease. So, Miss Iya, before we went on break, we were talking about the different types of ways that your mother tried to like help you balance your health and just maintain the disease to help you sustain it for long. So now, with everything that you went through in Cameroon as a child and everything, after 10 years your kidney did not fail.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got to a point that was like when you were 17.
Yes,
because you got diagnosed at 7 years old.
Yes.
So like at age 17, like there's nothing really much you can do much in Cameroon, but had to like come to a advanced country to get treatment. So tell us about that journey, how your transition from Cameroon to the US.
Yes. So in the period between 7 years old and when my kidneys started failing, or when they had failed per se, it was about a 10-year span.
Wow.
And during that period, it was well managed. I used to take steroids, prednisone, which is one of the main drugs that is used to manage kidney failure, like early stages of kidney failure or kidney damage, rather. So and with the right drug and the right dieting, it was able to extend my kidneys for that long.
Wow.
So about age, I would say 16, I started showing severe signs. I would have, I was tired all the time. Like, I was a young girl, teenager, but I was always tired. I had this metallic taste in my mouth. That was something that was very bothersome to me.
So in another word, like when you eat food, it doesn't taste
It didn't
normal.
taste as normal.
Right.
And even on the regular, the metallic taste in my mouth was always there.
Right.
And I used to cramp a lot. I used to cramp, like I would cramp everywhere in my body. My thumb used to cramp.
Wow.
So it would get so bad sometimes in the middle of the night. I would cramp, and my mom would help me, or there's some family members in the house, my siblings or my cousins that lived with us would help come to my rescue. But it wasn't the easiest at that time. So it was a very, very challenging time. That was when I was already showing very, very
like the
severe
last
symptoms of kidney failure. At that point, my kidneys had gone for the most part. And so plans started for me to come to the US for further treatment.
Right.
I had my elder sister here, Sharon, whom you're very acquainted with. She decided that it was time that I come to the US, for better treatment.
And she's a nurse as well.
She is a nurse also. Right. So she was able to talk to some healthcare practitioners here, some physicians who were able to invite me to come here on a medical visa. Wow. So she and my mom worked together, and I was able to come here.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fortunate.
Very, very, fortunate. Because, when I came here, the first time I went, for my blood work and everything, I was told that my kidneys
were completely gone.
Both of them had failed.
Wow.
And I had to be placed on dialysis right away.
And meanwhile, you coming here, you came by yourself at the time.
I did.
Your mother still remained.
She did, yeah.
Back in Cameroon. I can only imagine what was going through her mind.
It wasn't easy at all, yeah, because at the time I was already very sick.
Right.
But when I came here, I think it was within a month that I was diagnosed with complete renal failure. Yes. And it's quite a journey. It's been a journey. But thank God that we're here to give this testimony. And,
And we just want to thank God for your mother's life again, because she has been there from day one to up to this day we're sitting here. And tell viewers how your kidneys were saved. Like, for you to be alive today, I know it's the grace of God, but who God used for you to have a second chance in life.
So you see, when I came and I was diagnosed with complete renal failure,
right.
I had to go on dialysis. So I started with peritoneal dialysis, and they chose that because it was the most appropriate for my age. I was young, and I could do it at home. I had the liberty of doing it at night, and so I could travel. I could do other stuff, But at the same time, peritoneal dialysis has a high risk of infection. And lo and behold, within about 2 years of doing that, I got infected. Yeah. I got what you call peritonitis. That's when infection goes into the peritoneal cavity, and you can no longer do the peritoneal dialysis.
Right.
Correct. I mean, they'll treat you, but sometimes it causes scar tissues, which prevents you from doing peritoneal dialysis again.
Wow.
Some people are able to go back, but in my case, I wasn't able to. So I was switched to what's called hemodialysis. And hemodialysis is when you go in center. Now they have programs where you can do it at home, but at the time I had to go to the dialysis clinic 3 times a week,
Right.
and I had a fistula put in to my arm where the dialysis was being performed through, and I did that for about another 2+ years. So
Wow.
I think I did dialysis for about five
Four to
five
five
years total, right?
Wow.
And so in that time, there was talk about transplant, being that I was young, and the transplant is an alternate method, right, for people with kidney failure. So to live a better life or an improved quality of life, if you may say.
Right.
So family members were being tested. And at this time, my mom had moved to the US as well.
Right.
So she was able to be tested
And
to be a donor for me. And she was found to be the best match for me.
Wow.
And so shortly after, not shortly, and so that's how my mom it was decided upon that she should be my donor. And then a couple of years later, after it was decided that she was a fit for me, I was able to get my transplant, thank God.
So, like, in other words, when she was found a match for you, the surgery didn't take place right away.
No, it didn't, because of other reasons.
Okay. They have to like wait for a certain period of time before they can do it.
No, not necessarily. The testing was done and she was a match for me.
Right.
But because of my situation at the time, I was undocumented.
Oh, okay.
And which prevented me from having the insurance, the medical insurance that I needed to get this procedure done was also challenging. And not only that, after a transplant, you would need to take anti-rejection medications to prevent your body from rejecting the kidney or the new organ that has been transplanted into your body.
But you see what, like, your story is so amazing. It's such a testimony and a blessing to people out there. Because if you look at the time span that you spent in Cameroon for 10 years, survived on just vegetables and fruits, like just proper diet and with a little medications here and there, you can totally see that the hand of God is upon your life.
Absolutely.
Because there is no way, there's no human explanation as of how you survived this for 10 years. And you came to the US, you did not just get transplant right away. It took like maybe 7 or 8 years or so.
It took about 5 years.
5 years for you to get a complete transplant. And as God can have it, your mother donated her kidneys to you. Yeah, you're blessed.
Absolutely, I am.
That's all I can say. You're a miracle. You're a walking miracle. And because of that, now you've used your story. You've used your past story to pay it forward. And through this journey, the ER Foundation is born.
Correct.
So tell people about the ER Foundation. What is the ER Foundation and what is it about?
So the ER Foundation was born as the ER Project. In the period where I needed to get my transplant, where I was undocumented, when I didn't have medical insurance, when I didn't have the money to pay for the anti-rejection drugs that I would need post-transplant, I was very blessed to have come across a group of people who stood by me. And so I was in school. I was in Middlesex. I was attending Middlesex County College at the time where we met.
Right.
And so I was part of an organization called AmeriCorps. And that's where I met some amazing group of people. See, I've always been one. I love belonging. I love to be in a group. And so when I came across this organization that does volunteer services, I was quite excited. I wanted to be a part of this group. And so when I applied, I remember interviewing with Professor Pat Donahue, who was my mentor at the time. He's of late now. He's so rest in perfect peace. He groomed me into the organization, and we're able to do a lot of volunteering services along with other AmeriCorps members. So there was one semester that I couldn't attend school. At this time, mind you, I was still on dialysis.
Right.
So I was doing dialysis and taking classes in my free time, as well as doing AmeriCorps duties. So one semester I had to skip the semester because I'd gotten severely sick.
Right.
And AmeriCorps members were able to reach out to me, asking where I was, why I hadn't shown up at
in school
or in meetings and stuff. And that's when I responded and I opened up to them about my health. And it was within a couple of days, and they were at my doorstep, amazingly. I still remember all of them, and sitting in our little living room at the time in our apartment, they listened to my story and my need at the time, and right there and then they decided that they would be of help to me.
Wow.
That's where the ER project was born. The ER project was born by a group of people who decided to take it upon themselves to raise funding for one of theirs, to be able to get a second lease on life, to be able to get this life-saving transplant that she absolutely needed. And so that's how it was born. And me, post-transplant, after that, it took another 2 years for us to raise we needed about $30,000 for the hospital. The hospital needed at least $30,000 for them to do the surgery. So we used at least 2 years, to raise that money. And when it was raised, I was able to get my transplant in September of 2005.
Wow. So how long has the ER Foundation been in?
When I got my transplant in 2005, I was able to go back to school full force. So I went back and I finished my associates and then my bachelor's, and then so it was in 2009, during which, right after my undergrad, I believe, I'd always wanted to give back.
Right.
I'd always wanted to pay it forward.
Right.
And sometimes people cross your paths. I personally feel like God places angels in strategic places in your life, and just to propel you forward or to guide you into His plans for you in this lifetime. And that's what I think AmeriCorps and the late Professor Johnny played in my life. They guided me, and the ER project was born, and I knew I had to pay it forward. I needed to bless somebody else's life. I needed to give somebody else a new lease on life, like I was giving. So when I was done with my undergrad and I was waiting admission into graduate school, that's when I started thinking more about,
what can I do?
What can I do to pay it forward? And that's when I started with Fish Fridays. We raise money to help the in-need patients just like myself. And I also started awareness, education. At this time, the organization wasn't official. It was just me doing it. But I had the concept in mind that I wanted to make it a more structured organization. So, yes. So the organization itself was registered and became official 2 years ago.
And it's making a lot of impact. So far you having like your gala, you just have your first big gala this past September, and it was really successful. We thank God for that. So the ER Foundation, when we come back, you're going to hear more as of where you can find more about the ER project and how you can donate, how you can be part of it, partners. Be a partner with the ER Foundation or the ER project. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Like, comment, and subscribe. You are watching KPTV Network.
Welcome back. You're watching the Kingdom Promoters Talk Show on KPTV Network. I'm here in the studio with me, Miss Ia Bekondo Vanatella, and she is the CEO and the founder of the IA Project. So, Miss Ia, I just want, before we went on the break, you were telling us about the IA Project, when it was found and how it came about. So I want you to just tell viewers out there what the IA Foundation is doing and what the purpose of the foundation is.
So the EA Foundation is pretty much an organization that promotes kidney disease awareness, organ donation awareness, and we also help in need kidney failure patients. We financially assist them, and so far we've reached thousands and thousands of individuals through our different programs. We do Wear Your Green in March campaign, which is like a social media frenzy, and we encourage all our followers and the entire public to wear green in honor of kidney disease awareness. And this is a program that allows us to make people to be more aware of their kidneys, because in all we believe that prevention is better than cure, and also early detection saves lives. If you're able to know what the symptoms and signs of kidney failure is or kidney disease is, and you're able to take them to your healthcare professional, or make sure you know your numbers, or make sure you understand that diabetes is the leading cause of kidney failure, and high blood pressure is the second leading cause of kidney failure, and you know that you should manage your diabetes and manage your high blood pressure, then you have an understanding of what kidney failure is, and by so doing, we can save, you can not only save your life, but you can save lives of future generations, your unborn children and children and children. So with that being said, we do a lot of different forms of awareness campaigns. The Wear Your Green in March Kidney Awareness campaign being one. We send out a lot of educational and informative materials through our social media platform, as well as our e-newsletter, which goes out quarterly. We also do our Kidney Sundays, where we go to different places of worship, and we educate parishioners about kidney failure, kidney disease, and organ donation. And also we have a financial assistance program, which was launched last year. 5 people benefited from this program with grants of up to $1,000 each. And this was a huge milestone for us, because these are people who were in the same situation like I was, in need, and we're able to help them, we're able to pay it forward. And this year we're hoping that a lot more people can benefit from this financial assistance program. We're hoping that we can reach more lives in the diaspora, in Africa, or anywhere in the world through our awareness campaign. They say knowledge is power. There's nothing stronger than having knowledge of what is around you, or your environment, of who you are, or what could affect you. And if kidney disease is something that you could be at risk of, at least you know what it is and how to take care of it, or your loved ones. So going forward, we're going to continue with our different programs, like we're launching our Global Dialysis Initiative, which allows us to reach out to developing countries in Africa, Asia, anywhere in the world, developing countries that are like the Global Dialysis Initiative allows us to assist dialysis clinics in those countries, as well as kidney failure patients. So this year alone, we're going to be sponsoring 10 patients in Cameroon by providing their fistula surgery. Fistula surgery allows them to be able to do hemodialysis, and it's a huge challenge in just providing for that, being the financial situation in Cameroon. Not a lot of people can afford these treatments or these
So,
surgeries,
so
these
how,
procedures.
how can one qualify for what are the procedures to apply? You have to apply, or maybe someone is watching right now, like, okay, I'm really thankful that I'm hearing this, that I can have financial assistance for my medical, you know, bills or medications. How can they go about to be beneficiaries for this from the EAR Foundation?
Okay. If you're in the US, you can reach out to us via email, info@theearfoundation.org, and request for an application, and we will be able to reach out to you and forward you an application, where you could fill out, complete the form and mail it back to us. Now, if you're anywhere else but the US, we try to go work with the clinics, and we encourage that you talk to your
Health provider
healthcare provider, and they'll reach out to us, and we'll be able
to communicate
to
better.
to construct a program that we can be able to help the patients in that clinic
Right.
collectively. So that's what we're in the process of doing now. So if you feel like you're in need, and you're say in Sierra Leone, and maybe your dialysis clinic where you go to get your dialysis is lacking in certain things,
Right.
I encourage you to reach out to us. Again, it's info@theearfoundation.org, info@theearfoundation.org, and we will be able to get back to you.
With that being said, for my people in Sierra Leone, please, you have to have a proper reason to reach out to Miss EAR or the EAR Foundation. This is not a joke. It's not a money making, because I know people will start calling, it's African. Let's be honest,
we
because
do
people will
do-
try to,
Right.
as for the fact that, oh, you give me $1,000,
Right.
they'll fake it and
We
try
do
to
verify our facts.
just
I
make
have
that
to
clear
say.
so people will
Yes,
know.
we do verify our facts, and that's why in places where we're going international with our programs, we try to work with the clinics. We're not just working with individuals. We work with the clinics, and we find out.
And we need to have a proper proof of diagnosis.
Correct.
A letter or doctor speaking to the EAR Foundation directly.
Correct.
That this is my patient. I've been seeing him or her for so many times or so many years, and this is exactly what is needed. This is the treatment that he's getting. So that way, the proper funds can be given to that clinic, not directly to the individual.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
let's just get that straight. So we don't want to have any email that, oh, help me, I'm dying, and no, not that. We need a proper diagnosis and proper
a need.
reason. Right.
There should be a need.
Right.
Yes.
So with this foundation, you cannot do it by yourself. We all know that you have a wonderful team behind you that is helping you throughout this whole EAR Foundation and making it come to life. So what can you say to this wonderful people?
Oh my God. I have an amazing team. I mean, the staff at the EAR Foundation is just super. I couldn't have been able to do it on my own. There's no way. And I applaud them. I applaud you guys. You guys are doing an amazing job, especially like recently. The past couple of months have been very challenging for me,
Right.
for personal reasons. But my team has been
there.
able to pick up the slack
Mhm.
and pull me
Right.
out of wherever I was
Right.
to keep it going, and they were able to do, for the organization
Right.
like anybody else. They take it personal. This is something that they believe in, they're passionate about, they see the need in it, and they work towards fulfilling the goals of the EAR Foundation. And I have to also say, family, the support of family has been amazing throughout this, and amazing friends like yourself,
Oh, thank God.
more like a sister.
Yes.
You guys have been there for me, and in accomplishing the mission of the EAR Foundation, and also by the special grace of God. I
Right.
mean, I couldn't be here or do
Without
anything otherwise without God. I mean, even in those times when you feel like you can't say a prayer, all you can do is look up or sometimes sing a praise song or, worship song, and you feel alive again. So,
So
I'm very thankful.
before we close, I just want you to look in the camera and send a message out there to a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 16, 18, 20, or 30, 40-year-old. Everyone or anyone that is being diagnosed or affected by this kidney disease. And as a survivor, now you're sharing your story, you're paying it forward, you're encouraging, you're the voice behind kidney disease and encouraging people and letting them know that there is hope. Don't give up. What can you say to someone out there that is watching the show right now that is just about to let go and give it up?
I want to say to you, my dear darling, there is so much more out here. And I want you to know that a diagnosis of kidney failure or kidney damage, it's not a death sentence anymore. There's so much more. There's life after a kidney failure diagnosis. There's life after someone telling you that you have chronic kidney disease or there's damage in your kidneys. I want you to keep your head high, follow directions, follow the directions from your healthcare professional, do accordingly. Like I said, if you listened from before in the show, it took medicine, it took a total change of lifestyle in my diet, so you want to listen to your healthcare professional and keep hope alive.
Yeah.
There's nothing as staying positive and staying optimistic. And if you are spiritual like I am and you believe in a supreme being and in God Almighty, I say you always go down on your knees and pray.
Right.
And smile and keep up that positive attitude. That's what I want to say to you. And yes, and stay blessed. It's just fine. And if you need a shoulder to lean on, if you need to vent, you need to talk, send me an email, call me, go to our website, theearfoundation.org, www.theearfoundation.org, and you get our contact info on there. Reach out to us. I'm always available. There's a lot of support out there, and we can help you get that support. Don't give up. Okay?
And you're also on Facebook.
We're on Facebook. Our Facebook page is called The EAR Project, and we're on Twitter and Instagram as The EAR Foundation. So look for us, okay? We are always here for you. Absolutely.
Well, viewers, that's the end of the show. And Ms. E, I just want to thank you. I appreciate you coming here today. I appreciate you coming on the show. And I pray that God will take your foundation to the next level. And you will reach out to people all over the world where you can be more blessing unto people. Amen. And bring hope to those that are feeling like there's no hope. Yeah. I really appreciate you coming here today. Be strong as always, and always be an inspiration to those that are needing it, because there are so many people out there that need inspiration and encouragement. And I know you have it in you to give it out to the world. God bless you.
Yes, and I just want to say thank you, Fatty. You've been an amazing friend.
Oh,
and how many times have I laid down on your couch?
Oh, I guess it goes both ways.
How many times have we sat on your doorstep? I just want to thank you, and I want to thank God for my church family, First Presbyterian Church, and I also want to thank God for my church family back in Cameroon, Presbyterian Church Town Beach. And I want to thank God for my amazing family and my amazing friends, my siblings. And, I have been fortunate enough to have a strong support system, and I thank God for that.
You give God all the glory.
Yes.
Thank you. And that is all for today on the show. And again, I just want to encourage you all, especially my people in Sierra Leone, and about what Ms. Ia said about the Ia Foundation and how much they are giving out to help people with kidney disease. So please, I encourage you to support her. If you're watching from America, wherever you are, find her on Facebook on the website that she's giving out the information. It's on the bottom of the screen. You can find her there and get more information about how you can partner, donate, and support this great ministry that God has laid upon her heart to be a blessing unto people with kidney disease. And in Sierra Leone, mothers and parents, especially, I appeal to you. Pay special attention to your children and learn to see the early symptoms in your kids. If there's any, signs that you see that you know it's not normal, try to reach out to doctors or nurses. As she said, her foundation is there to help people and bring awareness to kidney disease in America and all over the world. So please, I encourage you to just support this ministry and be a blessing. And if you're suffering from kidney disease, you don't have money, you don't have nowhere to support for your medications or anything, as she said, they're giving funds out, but to just a proper candidate. So be careful when you're reaching out, give the proper verification, and we will make sure we do a thorough investigation to make sure the funds are going out to those that deserves it. So I thank you again for watching the KPTV network on Kingdom Promoters Talk Show, and I'll see you next time. And I want to wish you all a happy holiday as we're facing the Christmas season. Thank you so much. I'm Minister Fatike Samora on KPTV network. You're watching the Kingdom Promoters Talk Show. Stay blessed.
Like, comment, and subscribe. You are watching KPTV Network.